The average new car in America now costs nearly $50,000, and here is the part that should stop you cold. You can no longer buy a single brand new car for under $20,000, not one. In 2026, the cheap car quietly went extinct, and it did not die by accident. It was slowly, deliberately engineered out of existence. Let us start with just how strange the numbers have become. As of early 2026, the average price paid for a new vehicle is around $49,000. In the autumn of 2025, that average crossed $50,000 for the very first time in history. Over just 6 years, new car prices have climbed roughly 30%, but the average only tells half the story. The real shock is at the bottom of the market. For decades, there was always a new car you could buy for well under $20,000. Then, at the end of 2025, the last new car in America priced under that line ended production. Today, the cheapest new vehicle you can buy is a small crossover starting around $22,000. Cars priced near $25,000, which made up more than a fifth of all sales just 6 years ago, now account for fewer than 1 in 20. The affordable car did not just get pricier, it very nearly vanished. So what happened? It is tempting to blame a single villain, greedy corporations, or just plain inflation. But the truth is far more interesting and far more unsettling. The affordable car was not killed by any one force. It was crushed by a whole stack of them. Half a dozen separate pressures, each quietly adding hundreds or thousands of dollars, all pushing in the very same direction at the very same time. Pull any one of them out and the affordable car might well have survived. But stacked together all at once, they were simply unstoppable. Think of it less like a single knockout blow and more like a slow tightening vise closing from every side at the same moment. So let us take those forces apart, one by one, and see exactly how each one added its weight to the final price on the window. The first and biggest force is a simple discovery the car industry made about you. Somewhere along the way, automakers realized that buyers were willing to pay far more for bigger vehicles. A large SUV or a pickup truck does not just carry a higher sticker price. It earns the manufacturer dramatically more profit on every single sale than a small economy car ever could. And so the industry pivoted hard. Assembly lines that once poured out modest sedans were retooled to build tall, heavy crossovers instead. But those bigger vehicles are genuinely more expensive to make. They use more steel and more aluminum, they need larger engines or bigger battery packs, and they ride on more complex, costlier suspension systems. The humble sedan, cheap to build but thin on profit, became an inconvenience. One by one, entire model lines were killed off. Beloved, affordable compact cars and small sedans that had sold in the millions were dropped from lineups almost overnight, their factories turned over to crossovers and trucks. Not because people stopped buying them, but because the company made so much more money building something larger. When the most profitable thing to sell is also the most expensive thing to build, the cheap car never stood a chance. The whole center of gravity of the industry shifted upward, and it dragged the average price up with it. The second force is sitting right in front of every modern driver, and you are not allowed to say no to it. Advanced safety technology. Lane-keeping assistance that nudges you back between the lines. Automatic emergency braking that hits the brakes before you can even react. Blind spot monitoring, collision warnings, cameras, and a web of sensors watching the road in every direction. These systems genuinely save lives, and more of them are required by law. But they are not free. A car that in 2015 would have been a bare-bones commuter now arrives with roughly $2,000 to $4,000 of electronic safety hardware built in. And here is the crucial part: the buyer cannot opt out. There is no stripped-down version without the sensors anymore. The moment that hardware became standard across the whole industry, the price floor under every new car rose by thousands of dollars, permanently, whether you personally wanted the technology or not. The third force turned your car into a computer. Step inside almost any new vehicle, and you are met by glowing screens, digital dashboards, and dozens of tiny processors managing everything from the engine to the door locks. A single modern car can contain well over 1,000 semiconductor chips. And this is where it gets brutal. Those chips are now trapped in a global fight for supply. Artificial intelligence data centers have grown so hungry for memory chips that they now consume around 70% of the world's entire memory chip output. That staggering demand has sent prices soaring. Certain automotive-grade memory chips roughly doubled in price in a single year heading into 2026. So every screen, every sensor, every clever computerized feature that buyers said they wanted now costs the automaker far more to build than it did just a few years ago. And that cost flows straight through to the sticker price on the window. The fourth force is the raw material the car is made from. The bill of materials, the total cost of every piece of metal, rubber, and plastic in a vehicle, has surged across nearly every category at once. Steel and aluminum, the very bones of the car, have jumped in price. Synthetic rubber for tires and seals has climbed. And for electric cars, the picture is even sharper. Lithium carbonate, a key ingredient in every single battery pack, more than doubled in price over the 12 months leading into 2026. When the basic ingredients of a car all become more expensive together, there is simply no cheap car left to build, no matter how efficiently the factory is run. The fifth force is the strangest of them all, because it was actually supposed to help. For years, governments have pushed fuel economy rules designed to make cars cleaner and more efficient. You would assume such rules would encourage small, light, thrifty cars. But here is the twist almost nobody sees. Because of the way the rules are written, they often measure efficiency relative to a vehicle's size, its physical footprint on the road. That means a large truck is held to a gentler standard than a tiny hatchback. Perversely, it can actually be easier for an automaker to satisfy its fleet-wide obligations by building bigger vehicles and quietly killing off the smallest ones. A regulation meant to reward efficiency ended up punishing the very cars that burned the least fuel of all. The small, cheap, economical car did not just lose in the showroom. It was undercut by the rulebook itself. The sixth force arrived more recently, and it struck the bottom of the market hardest of all. Tariffs. New taxes on imported vehicles have added thousands of dollars to many cars, with duties reaching as high as 25% on vehicles built outside the country and steep charges on cars coming from Europe and Asia. In just a single quarter of 2026, the average new vehicle price jumped by more than $1,300, driven largely by these import costs. And the cheapest cars, the ones with the thinnest profit margins, were the least able to absorb it. When you are only making a few $100s of profit on a budget car, a few $1,000s of fresh tariff does not shrink your margin. It erases it completely. For many affordable models, especially imported ones, the math simply stopped working and the automakers walked away from them for good. But if cars became this expensive, how on earth is anyone still buying them? That brings us to the seventh force, the one that hid the entire problem in plain sight: financing. Rather than let sticker shock destroy their sales, the industry quietly stretched the loans out longer and longer. The average new car payment now runs over $770 every single month, at interest rates around 7%, spread across loan terms that now reach up to 84 months. That is 7 full years of payments on one car. By training buyers to focus on a monthly number instead of the total price, the industry created room for the sticker to keep on climbing. The payment felt survivable, even as the true cost of the car marched quietly higher and higher. There is one more link in this chain, and it sits at the very end, inside the showroom itself: the dealership. During the great chip shortage, when almost no new cars were available to sell, buyers learned a hard new lesson. Dealers discovered they could charge well above the sticker price, piling on markups and mandatory add-ons, because desperate customers would pay almost anything just to get a car at all. And once dealers had tasted those fatter margins, they proved very reluctant to give them back. The old ritual of walking onto a lot and haggling thousands of dollars off the price quietly faded away. On top of that, the automakers, squeezed from every direction, slashed the generous rebates and cash incentives they had once used to move cars off the lot. So the final price the customer actually pays crept higher still. The discount, much like the cheap car itself, simply disappeared. Electric cars deserve their own moment here because they were caught in the crossfire of nearly all of these forces at once. Expensive lithium batteries, heavy tariffs on imported models, and in some markets, the loss of the very government incentives that once made them affordable in the first place. The result was swift and brutal. Over the course of a single year, a dozen or more electric models were paused, canceled, or pulled from sale entirely, including several from the biggest names in the entire business. The dream of the cheap electric car, at least for now, collided head-on with the exact same economics squeezing everything else on the lot. And it does not even stop with new cars. When new vehicles become this expensive, the shock waves ripple straight into the used market as well. Priced out of the showroom entirely, millions of buyers turn instead to used cars, and that surge of extra demand pushes used prices upward too. A 3-year-old vehicle that might once have been a genuine bargain now commands a small fortune of its own. The used car, for generations the traditional escape hatch for anyone who could not afford something new, has grown dramatically more expensive right alongside it. There is increasingly no cheap door left to walk through at all. The entire ladder of car ownership, from the bottom rung all the way to the top, has been quietly lifted up and out of reach. So step back and look at the whole picture. Here is the uncomfortable truth at the center of it. In many ways, today's cars genuinely are worth more. They are far safer than the cars of 20 years ago. They last longer, they pollute less, and they are packed with technology that actually works. The buyer is getting more car than ever before in history. But that is precisely the problem, and it is the great hidden trap of the whole story. You are no longer allowed to buy less. The choice to own a simple, basic, no-frills machine that just gets you from place to place has been quietly taken off the table entirely. Every one of these forces, the pivot to big vehicles, the mandatory safety tech, the chips, the materials, the regulations, and the tariffs, all pushed in the same single direction upward. And every one of them stripped away a little more of your freedom to choose something simpler and cheaper. The affordable car was not beaten in a fair fight. It was slowly engineered out of existence, one decision at a time, until the cheap option simply no longer existed for you to buy. And that is the real story hiding behind that $50,000 average. It is not simply that cars got expensive. It is that the floor was quietly pulled out from underneath the entire market. The cheapest new cars did not slowly creep upward in price until you happened to notice. They stopped being built at all. So the next time you see that a brand new car can now cost as much as a small house once did, remember what you are really looking at. You are not just watching prices rise. You are watching an entire category of car, the simple, honest, affordable machine disappear from the world, one canceled model at a time. Subscribe for more of the hidden forces that quietly reshape the world around you, one decision, one machine, and one industry at a time.